I'm tired. All right, ready?
I'm ready. I was born ready.
We're probably live now because you just never know.
Right.
Probably caught that whole other conversation we're having. That's what I'm always worried about. We're going to be like, oh boy, that rash was just really, really bothering me, and they gave me some topical cream. Oh shit!
We are live.
Because it's not as like on point ever since we switched over.
I mean, I've watched.
Fuck it,
a lot more professional clout than us, and they look just they have just as much.
I'm very aware that we're live now. I mean, you're just hearing us just talk about
That's right.
Crazy how much, I won't say crazy, but like, how much more different it has been since we've switched equipment, because YouTube feels if you were not super popular, you shouldn't be able to go live from your phone. Go figure on that one. But hello everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I am the Athletic Geek, and I'm joined once again by Jedi Jason Kruger. And well, if you kind of thought we were stalling for time there, including all that bullshit, well, it turns out we are. Because once again, the main roster product was just so...
So, you're watching us on YouTube right now,
Mhm.
probably. Okay, so I'll save you the time. Google Bray Wyatt and watch Firefly Funhouse.
Yes.
You always watch Firefly Funhouse. That's what I do. Actually, after Raw, like a couple hours later, I'll just type on there and Google like Bray Wyatt, and the new episode will pop up, and I'll watch it.
Yeah.
And
R-Truth.
Just type in R-Truth, watch all the R-Truth.
All the R-Truth
If you
stuff.
haven't seen
his latest at the end of SmackDown, he like tried to hide in like a like one of those crates,
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was
Gender.
yesterday or today, he posted on like on Twitter. Help with a capital help. Someone, I think I'm going to Raw. My phone is about to die. Someone break a crowbar. I am stuck. This is not good. And I'm gonna this the closest thing you're gonna see to me giving WWE a compliment with everything that's kind of been going on. But there are two things that I'm like, wow, this looks like shit.
Mm-hmm.
When they first occurred, and now I'm like, it's the only reason to watch it.
All right.
Oh, 24/7 championship, that's awful, that's terrible. What's the point of that fucking highlighter?
Credit where credit's due. It's mostly thanks to R-Truth and Jinder Mahal, of all people.
And R-Truth.
I mean, R-Truth's carrying it, but Jinder, he's hanging in there as the other guy.
That segment on Raw where like they're stuck in the elevator.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He's terrified of Hornswoggle. I died. He's a rapper with no bars.
I guess it's good.
I'm easily immune.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not saying that it's, I'm not saying that what he's doing is bad, but like, is that the case because the quality of the show has just dropped so much that we're just like, fuck yeah, R-Truth's being funny?
I mean, in fairness, it could very well be. I don't know.
Well, I digress there, because we actually started a discussion there, which I'm surprised. We didn't even do the intro. If you've never seen this show before, first we'd go off on a lot of tangents. And second of all, this is the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. Jedi and I have been watching wrestling together for damn near 15 years, if not more than that. We love wrestling. We love sharing our love of professional wrestling with other passionate wrestling fans. We love starting passionate wrestling discussion among other wrestling fans. Mm-hmm. However, our opinions carry no more weight than any of you, the viewers. We are not insiders. We're not wrestlers. We're not in the wrestling business. We try not to use insider terms because we haven't earned the right to do that because, well, at the end of the day, we're just two marks. And, yeah.
Quick pro tip for you, in case I've never mentioned this on the show. As a fan, if you like to participate in backyard wrestling and you have your own character and costume and everything, do not wear it to a wrestling show as a fan. Don't do it.
Yes.
Yeah, we did that once.
You did.
You warned me not to.
I said, hey,
not to.
I said, hey guys, probably shouldn't do that.
You were the voice of reason, and John just wasn't interested. But everybody else.
John and JC, who's been on the show before.
Did JC not? He might not have.
JC wore the mask and stuff.
Oh, yes, he did.
Little kids wanted his autograph.
Yep. JC, Scooter Boy, and myself.
Yes.
We all went. And, yeah, like you said, autograph, like we accidentally took some of the thunder away from the wrestlers and felt like asses for doing so.
Yes.
Apologized to some of them, I believe, and never did so ever again. Or
Yes.
maybe we just tucked our tails and ran. I don't know. But either way, it was a bad idea.
It was a bad
Don't
idea.
do that. Yeah.
Yes. But we tell you that story because it's a transition into what this week's episode is going to be about. So, WWE product on the main roster has been so whatever that we've had nothing to talk about essentially for the last month.
I mean, we had a glorified house show happen last week.
Yes.
Last weekend.
And I you know, I'm not going to get too political, but I'm not talking about that on this show.
And since then, somehow
that's the one
they're
time.
doing-
That's the one time where I break my rule of, you know, we only focus on what's happening in wrestling. But this is the one time where I'll break that and say, yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
And literally, this pay-per-view coming up is basically cloning it. So, I mean, basically.
Stomping grounds. Stomping grounds.
So, yeah, yeah. I don't have really much to say about it.
So, but
NXT's
we've had a way out. Yeah, NXT's doing well. Like I'm excited because they've announced on NXT. You know, this is just gonna be a free for all. But we'll get to NXT.
I mean, we got to give NXT its props.
We will get NXT. We'll get to that. But the last couple weeks on the show, well, first of all, we had Double or Nothing predictions, which bailed us out one week. We had discussing Double or Nothing and the fallout and where AEW should go in the future. That bailed us out the next week. And then last week, I was able to put it out that we're having just a Q&A show. Some of our great followers and fans, you know, submitted some questions, and some of them in the chat were able to submit some questions. But I feel like
and non.
yeah, wrestling and non-wrestling. Yeah, it's a great show. That was actually one of my favorite shows we've done.
Yeah,
Since I've started started doing this YouTube channel.
I agree.
However, I feel like it's also not something we should do every week.
I agree. Yeah.
So while I could have thrown it back out there again this week, I'm like, you know what? Let's make those special. You know, let's make those special, like title changes should be.
But thanks to the main roster, we are struggling.
Yes. So on this particular episode, the reason you brought up backyard wrestling, going to wrestling events dressed like favorite characters, our topic is going to be our favorite matches, our top 5 favorite matches that we have seen in person. And feel free in the comment section below to let us know yours. These are only matches that you have witnessed live and in person, you know, not at like a party, you know, not at the sports bar watching WrestleMania, or nothing like that. These only the ones that you've seen in person. And to me, what makes this interesting is that, especially from Jedi's perspective, is a lot of the matches he has on his list are from very obscure promotions.
Yeah, it's more so. I mean, most of them
And
are from
don't
bigger
get me wrong,
promotions, but it's the fact that I've been to all of like 2 major shows for major promotions, and other than that, it's all been very local indie stuff. So
Yeah, and I'm gonna have a few honorable mentions in mind.
Fair.
I'll have my top 5, but then I'll have some other ones that I really liked. And,
also, I'll blame my kids on it, but my memory is not what it used to be. I had to Google some of this stuff to remind me.
And then I'll also bring up some matches we've seen that may be infamous for other reasons, and I think you know exactly where I'm going with that one. But first, we'll get to that. That's the meat and potatoes. But now it's time for a damn good appetizer, and that's NXT. The big thing I took away from NXT is they're doing this. They're starting this big tournament for people that had not been on TV yet, and well, speaking of local talent, he's going to be going up under a different name, but ACH will be making his NXT TV debut that way, and I will be very, very passionately pulling for ACH throughout this tournament. I'm going to look up, I'll have to get back on the Twitter and see what name he's going to be going under.
Fair enough.
If it works.
And Io Shirai is on the Warpath.
Mm-hmm.
ready to murder Shayna Baszler.
The road to Fighter
pissing off the Joshi.
The road to Fighter Fest is looking very good, and Dominion.
Are there only 2 episodes so far?
Yes.
For that? Okay.
And
I haven't watched the first, but I started watching the second. Oh my gosh, I love that Joey Janela promo.
Jordan Miles will be ACH. Yeah, he'll be wrestling as Jordan Miles now. So while I think that's a terrible name, that's like...
I don't know, you can get Miles out of a name like that. No, I didn't even try. I'm sorry. Didn't even try.
I just feel like there's no... quote Mick Foley again, it doesn't just have... It kind of... ACH, stands out. Jordan Miles, kind of likes that fire! Pizzazz! That's, that you might need, but,
I mean, they could have called him Lucky Cannon.
Well, they're Lucky Cannon. It's not quite Braden Walker bad, but, I don't think ACH gained a bunch of weight, and if he's telling knock-knock jokes, we got problems.
Speaking of which, I can't remember anymore. I'll have to go back and look it up, or anybody watching can. But apparently, when Bryan Danielson first joined WWE, he had ideas for names, and it's a damn good thing they didn't go with a couple.
Lloyd Bonnier.
There was one worse. I can't remember what it was. It was pretty bad, though. It was on the level of the Red Rooster bad. I mean,
Buddy Peacock.
Yeah, that was it. Buddy Peacock.
There's Buddy Peacock and Lloyd Bonnier, but Bonnier is spelled boner. And yeah,
thankfully, every now and again, car crashes are avoided.
Yeah. Well, I remember when he first got signed, we're gonna make a joke like, I think it'll be Bryan Danielson. He'll be Daniel Bryanson, and then, a friend of ours who's an independent wrestler who's gonna be in. Probably mention a few of these matches we talk about. Edmund Livewire McGuire. He kind of. Said, texted me one day. He's like, dude, did you hear what they're calling him? He's going to be Daniel Bryan. And I'm like, well, could have been worse. Of course, Could have been worse. But, other than AJ, everybody who I really liked on the Indies, for the most part, changed their name. So I can't be too mad at Jordan Miles. Yeah. It's just kind of one of those, ACH standing for attitude, charisma, heart, Jordan Miles. It's just kind of I don't know. But I'm going to fully show bias, very, very, very big behind ACH. I really hope he has a great showing in that tournament, and I really hope he has a good career because I was watching him in Knights of Columbus Halls,
right?
Making his way. Shooting the shit with him, about Dragon Ball Z and comic books, while he's, selling T-shirts and autographed pictures. So, it's like him and Johnny Gargano, kind of from that same ilk, and kind of, and even Seth Rollins to a lesser extent, really excited to see, It's happened. Things have gone well for 2, and I know Meatloaf says 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but I'm really hoping for number 3 to do well. But so Dominion. Before we forget,
Dominion happened.
I thought it was a great show. I thought that I was surprised that Tetsuya Naito won the IWGP Intercontinental Championship back. From Ibushi.
Man, those two killed each other.
Yes, they do. So,
Kota Ibushi showing me exactly why I cringe every time they do an apron spot.
Yes. And, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. I think even Meltzer did not even give it a rating because of he says it's anywhere from -5 stars to 4.75. He gave 5 stars to the most overrated match on the fucking card, Will Overrated Spray and Dragon Lee.
I mean, it was good. I don't know. I enjoyed it.
The athleticism was good.
It was comparable. It was comparable to
the Young Bucks and the Lucha
Brothers. Yes.
Yeah, it's
it was comparable to that.
But
so, I mean,
I don't like Will Ospreay. I mean, I know that makes me the fucking black sheep of the internet. Spitting on the flippy British wrestling god right now, but I don't like him. sorry, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. You know, I think he's overrated. I respect what he can do, but to me, like his match with Shingo in the finals of the Best Super Juniors, the reason that match was so good was because of Shingo helping tell the story. I'm not saying Dragon Lee's a bad wrestler who can't tell a story, but he's not as good as Shingo, so to me, it just felt like a lot of flippy. And
it was a lot of flippy.
And while I don't mind some flippy, I don't like that being the whole match.
Right.
I'm not Jim Cornette. I'm not the old man that's going to go, hey, you can't get goddamn business, motherfucker. But I'm just going to say I'm not a fan of him, and I'm not going to do like the rest of the IWC and the YouTube community and suck Will Ospreay's dick. It's not happening.
Not even if it's candy coated.
No. No. So, yeah, whatever.
Anyway,
Jericho versus Okada was great. A lot of people shit on... See, and then also on the flip side, a lot of people shit on that match. I loved it. To me, it's not the same. It was something that helps Okada in his title reign grow as a character.
It's not going to be Kenny versus Okada. It's a different dichotomy.
And Jericho,
yeah,
Jericho, Jericho's 48, shouldn't more New Japan. Fuck you, people. Fucking, this is something different than just Okada wins, LOL. I like the story where at the end of it,
he won, yes.
He won, but Jericho injured him.
Yeah.
Jericho took the winner's moment at the in the main event and shit on that.
And he had to step up and say, "Stop it."
Yeah. And Okada is injured, and how is that gonna play into the G1 climax coming up? Because even if somebody doesn't win the G1 climax, if they can beat Okada in the tournament, they'll get a title shot. So that opens the door. If he's injured and he's going to lose a few more matches, that may bring a whole new dichotomy of storytelling.
Champion in distress.
The champion in distress. He may have a tough road to make it to Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
So... so there could be somebody like Naito or Ibushi or, God forbid, Jay White. I love trolling Jay White. I don't have the same dislike of Jay White as I do Ospreay, but I love trolling Jay White fans, and there's one in particular out there that if she sees this, she knows who I'm talking about. So God forbid Jay White win the G1 climax. But...
So Tanahashi was the avenging no you didn't.
Yeah,
for Jericho. So
I think they're gonna build.
That'd be interesting.
I think they're gonna build up to Tana and Jericho in the Dome. Moxley made his point to be in the G1, but I think the one thing that
Moxley just going out there to murder some poor boy just.
But now they're like buddies, and it's become great meme material. And then also the debut in New Japan Pro Wrestling of Kenta being endorsed by the great Katsuyori Shibata, and Kenta has let his, thrown his name into the hat to try and be entered in the G1 climax this year.
Makes sense.
I'm very.
I will step up from everything he did at the other company.
Mm-hmm. And he even on the New Japan podcast even said, "I'm not stupid Hideo Itami anymore. I'm Kenta. I am me."
Yeah.
There are so many. I feel like this is the first time in a long time where there's so many names that could win the G1 climax this year.
Yeah, right. Like it's not like
like I felt like last year it was going to be Okada, Kenny, Kota, Naito, and then throughout the tournament you're like, oh okay, I believe in Jay, I believe in Tana. Right now, I could see it being Jay White. I could see Tana's kind of fallen out of favor, but I could see him trying to get be at least a finalist or there towards the end. I could still see it being Okada because where do you go from here? Have Okada be the first champion to win and choose his challenger, down the road. Because if you win and you're the champion, you get to choose your challenger for the Tokyo Dome. Naito making a strong case. Ibushi making a strong case. Moxley might have a great showing. Kenta. These are two dark horses that may not really seem like once the tournament begins, it may not feel like dark horses anymore. And then you always have that Cinderella story. There's Evil, there's Sonata. Overrated Spray. I mean, Osprey's probably going to be in it this year.
Probably.
So, as the junior champion, so like, what kind of splash is that going to make? This is now, Grant, I've only followed the G1. Last year was the first time I've ever followed it from start to finish, and then last year I kind of got into it midway through, or 2017 I got into it midway through. So I can't really speak to any other years but those.
Right.
But to me, this feels like kind of a rare, anyone can win this. There's a few, like, I love Juice. I don't expect Juice to win. I love, Lance Archer's cool, but I really don't expect him to win. But there's so many, like, names. It's like, it really does feel like, there's, like, March Madness or the NFL playoffs are coming to where, it could be him, it could be them, it could be them, it could be them.
Right.
So I'm really excited about that, and I'm really excited for the G1 Climax to
Anything
begin.
could happen. The Blues just won the Stanley Cup.
Yes. And they were in last place at the beginning of the year, so... so definitely excited about that, and when the G1 Climax begins, be sure to come here. We will definitely be doing analysis on the G1 Climax this year, and Jedi, I believe you should follow it with me.
I will attempt. We will do.
You can watch some matches on your phone.
Right.
That work.
Exactly.
You can watch New Japan World on your phone. While you're baiting the kids, while you're playing with them, you're playing horsey, and you're like, ooh, that was a cool move by Okada, yes. So, now it's time for today's topic, because
driving.
I may have done that a time or two. Like going to work early in the morning, it's like, oh, it's on. But anyway, we're
audio.
The topic today is top 5 matches that we've seen live, and we'll elaborate a little further on some others. Just, again, we're only doing this because there's nothing to talk about on the main roster. I mean, Lesnar's Money in the Bank, we talked about the important stuff. Everything else just feels meh. Nothing's really changed. Becky, I'm wanting to see where the Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss thing kind of goes.
That's Bailey right now.
Yeah, it's weird.
Becky's with the not quite ready.
But still probably going to win the title. Chick that just comes in and out.
The one who needs to remember, don't punch unless you're ready to end the match. Because she's hit people with right hands. That wasn't what is the difference?
Yeah, she doesn't. I like the character that she's got.
Oh yeah.
It's a cool character, especially with feuding with Becky.
If only she'd had about 2 more years experience in the ring doing this.
If only she would have spent some more time in that beautiful developmental brand that you have.
Then I think it'd be amazing right now. Because it kind of writes itself.
Seth Rollins is feuding with Baron fucking Corbin!
Oh my gosh. How is that guy still there? How?
Rumor innuendo says that Shane McMahon might be winning the title from Kofi.
I mean, at this point, would it surprise
you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna have Shane win the title from Kofi, so Roman Reigns can come in and go. You think you're the best in the world? I'm the big dog, son, and you and me, we got business. Spear, and he takes the title back, and everything's back where it should be.
Yeah. I wish with the...
And you know what? If this were 10 years ago and they were doing something like this with Shane, I wouldn't have a problem with it, because back then I really liked Shane. Shane was the only McMahon I liked. And Shane does crazy shit. I gotta give him props. He doesn't have to do as much crazy shit, but he does it. Still, though.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord that AEW is coming soon. Thank the Lord we're going to have the G1 Climax coming. Thank the Lord for AEW. Because then things will be good. Maybe. I delicately knock on wood as to not start another superstar shakeup.
There's hope.
So, top 5 matches in person.
Top 5 matches.
Let's just get to it. You know, we apologize. We're not really discussing more of the week, but I mean, what is there to say? What is there to say?
Really want to hear our thoughts on something, comment what it is, because...
Yeah. But I can tell you my current thoughts on, or my thoughts on the current product right now.
I am happy to see it.
That's how I feel about it.
I am happy to see it looks like Alexa's back to 100%, because I was starting to wonder if she was retiring, honestly. So, yeah.
All right.
Here's my thoughts on that.
So, you're number 5.
So, my number 5, hold on, I did not do these in any specific order, so let me look real quick. Alright.
Or just say one.
No, fine. Number 5 is probably going to be when we went to Ring of Honor in St. Louis and got to see Bobby Dempsey and Cena Generico. And they fought the American Wolves and Chris Hero, I think. I remember.
Really?
I remember Sweeney. I think so. Sweeney was there.
Oh yeah, I remember the match. I'm just saying like that. Like I'm not.
Yeah, well,
I'm not knocking the choice. I'm just saying like.
You got to remember with Ring of Honor, even then, I was not super familiar with a lot of the people. Always took to Steven Generico. And I'm glad he's running that orphanage now and stuff.
Yes.
But, always liked Steven Generico.
Generico.
The Bobby Dempsey story was just fun because I got to see that.
And Bobby, well, the first Ring of Honor show, we helped tear down the ring with Bobby Dempsey, with Rhett Titus.
Yeah.
You know, and just good dudes, and we got to hang out with them, and you know, stuff like that. I'm going to.
Sweeney.
It's not on my list, but you just reminded me.
That's fair.
Well, we met Ric Flair at that show. That was cool.
Yeah.
And also the main event when Nigel defended his title against Brent Albright, who had a very, very short run as Gunnar Scott in the WWE.
Yep.
I like that match because to me, I mean, it's not like a 5-star match or nothing, but for me, a good match, like especially in person, is whenever like the match is a foregone conclusion, but they can get you excited to where you forget about that.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell Nigel McGuinness was losing the Ring of Honor World Championship in St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis on a basically non-televised.
On a just straight to DVD, not major Ring of Honor show. Yeah. Not even one. It wasn't in the Hammerstein. It wasn't in Canada. It wasn't in Chicago. So it probably wasn't, or the WrestleMania weekend shows. Excellent. So I'm like, and he's probably not going to lose it to Brent Albright. And as that match was going on, and Brent Albright locked in the Fujiwara armbar, and
that's true, yeah.
Nigel reached the ropes, and they rolled back to the middle of the ring, and I'm like, holy shit, we're going to see a title change. Ring of Honor title's going to change hands here. So, so I guess I'll just give that like a by extension honorable mention right now.
Why not? Yeah.
Because we're just
fuck it. Jog my memory on something, I'll jump in too.
Yeah. Because fuck it, man.
Like I said, I am positive that I am like basically, omitting something that I should not be. And ask me again in a year, and I'll probably like, oh crap, let me amend this completely, even though I haven't been to any more events. So bear with us here. Bear with me especially. Thankfully, you got a little more to pull from on your list. So yeah, bear with me. You might raise some eyebrows. Do you want me to just run through my whole list?
No. I'll do my number 5. We'll bounce back and forth.
Because I don't got much else to say. I guess really
my number 5, and it's honestly, I kind of felt like, if you've watched the vlogs, you know that I went to WrestleMania weekend. I saw 5 shows in 4 days, and not one of them was a bad show.
Mm-hmm.
So, to be fair, I said, like, even making up this list, just in the interest of fairness, I'm only going to include 2 matches from that weekend. So, there's probably a lot of matches from WrestleMania or from Rev Pro or from the WrestleCon Super Show that were better than this particular match. But it really, it's always just kind of stuck with me. And I've always just remembered it.
That's what I went off of for a lot of it.
And this was good old El Generico versus a pre-cunt acting Pac from All-American Pro Wrestling main event in January of 2012. All-American Pro Wrestling was a local group.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, was a local group here in Southern Illinois that would, we're close to St. Louis, the Metro East St. Louis area, but this was kind of a little bit more going out east in Southern Illinois.
Yeah.
They would run
more in the sticks.
run smaller towns, but then they would run this college town. They got like local TV, and they'd run this college town for their bigger shows that go to DVD and their tape TV there.
Yeah.
And one show they just like they were very old school, old mentality, which isn't necessarily
Hogan era.
Hogan Flair kind of stuff. Yeah. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing because compared to St. Louis Anarchy, / LWA that we were going to go see in St. Louis, it just made for a good balance. But for this particular show,
because it was more Ring of Honor,
they had secured Colt Cabana, and by extension, Pac was in the United States and was doing an extended tour. He got on the show, or he was advertised. He got on the show, and then El Generico too, and that was a big deal because at the time, Pac's only United States, only promotions in the United States he'd really ever worked for would be PWG or Dragon Gate USA. So / Evolve. So, and this was right before he also got signed by the WWE too. So having just Pocket, not one of those major indie feds, was huge for that. And then they're also going to have him wrestle and then have El Generico. I remember getting a text from Nick or JC saying, "Hey, do you know at AAPW they're going to have Pac and El Generico?" And I'm like, "Yeah, bullshit," because we'd always joke these guys would come in, but they, their idea of a big name would be to get a former WWE guy or get a legend. That's
Bushwhacker
Luke, or Greg Valentine, Brutus Beefcake, Simon Dean.
Yeah.
Which not bad, but just kind of not, other than for a cool, hey, how you doing, and a picture, and an autograph, and a handshake. Not really, I liked it, but not my favorite type of wrestling, if that makes sense. So the fact that they got that and then had, maybe not their best match, is probably the one that gets the least amount of attention compared to their matches that they would have in PWG, in Dragon Gate, in Ring of Honor. And NXT. Oh wait, no, El Generico was never in NXT. My bad. He ran that orphanage.
Yeah.
But that guy, the guy that wrestled just like him, Sami Zayn. Yeah, that guy. But just the fact that I got to see that match actually happen, 30 minutes from my house was amazing. I didn't even have to go get on the interstate to go to the Metro East St. Louis area to see that. I saw it, I had to get on a highway. So that always stood out for me. Probably not as good as some of the other matches, even that I saw WrestleMania weekend, but just because of that memory, that's one of my favorites.
I'm still pissed that I think it was last year or early this year that I got sick or I was going to go. Abyss was wrestling literally 5 minutes from our house, local school.
Yes.
And that was 2 days before the Impact did the Hall of Fame induction, so that might have very well been one of the last matches he's wrestled.
Yeah.
In the last couple of years.
And before he got signed up by WWE to be an agent.
So I was just son of a gun. But I got a horrible stomach flu that night, so I didn't
You at least met Abyss.
Yes,
twice.
I did meet him once. Yeah.
Twice, right?
Yes.
Did you mean
twice.
at Lockdown?
Yes, I met him at the...
For the sake of Mitchell.
I met him at the Lockdown...
And then APW.
At the meet and greet, and then I met him again, the APW. They had that signing beforehand with him, and...
Naturals.
The Naturals, yes. It was the Naturals. I was like... What?
Naturals, I never liked the Naturals. I just kind of in retrospect, they're kind of okay, they're cool at the time. Just kind of looking back, and I'm like, hey, you really weren't that... looking back, I'm like, yeah, you really weren't that good.
Right. I
mean, or since they're not that good, they just weren't anything special.
Yeah. I mean, they were no
America's Most Wanted
at that time, which awkward how that ended for at least one of them. But
yeah. But Jedi number 4.
Number 4. Going to go. Yeah. The one big show that I really went to was TNA Lockdown, the very first pay-per-view they had outside Florida. From coming to Spike TV.
Second? Because they went to Detroit for Bound for Glory. Remember?
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, non-Bound for Glory.
I always remember that's because I bought the Christian DVD where they had the Detroit street fight with him. Or the 8 Mile street fight with Rhino and Christian. So.
Okay, their first non-Bound for Glory show outside of the Impact Zone, which was right near us, close enough. I was psyched because I was all about TNA at that point. Yeah, funnily enough, even back then, alternatives were the
Yes.
So,
which is what made the inevitable decline of
you know.
TNA, much like the decline of Ring of Honor right now.
Oh, man.
I was more pissed off about Ring of Honor. I'm more angry about when TNA went south than WWE because I was with you. I was waving that
Yeah.
TNA flag, harder than anybody else, louder and prouder. And then whenever they just made me look like an idiot with all the shit they done, like, yep, no, fuck them.
Yeah, like right up until about 2009, because that's when I got married and kind of fell out of it anyway. But thank goodness I did, because then I heard about a certain person coming in to fix things, brother, and get a force out of the ring. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I'm not watching.
Cunt Hogan! Shout out to OSW Reviews! But anyway, Lockdown, I was there with you,
So, it's probably no secret if any of you've watched that. Most matches on that were crap. Oh my god.
No, there's some good ones, but just the ones that stood out the most for crap.
Yes. So,
like a certain blindfold match or an electrified
and the blindfold match were the stupidest thing. And I have a lot of grace when I watch things. Oh my gosh, those were stupid.
But then you also had on that card, you had Lethal Lockdown was good, kind of like their hardcore version of War Games. You had Gail Kim and Jacqueline doing had an awesome women's cage match. I want to say Jerry Lynn and Christopher Daniels were on that card.
You're correct.
Low Key and Austin Aries were on that card.
Yes, they were.
I mean, you take away Backlund being an idiot, and it's not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, that hurt it a little on my rating.
But I believe I believe we're getting to your match here.
X Division, the escape match that they did. I mean, it's what, 5 or 6. Anyway, I mean, the X Division.
Yeah.
You couldn't beat it. Chris Sabin in there, Alex Shelley,
Shark Boy.
Mm-hmm.
A newly turned Black Machismo Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was awesome. And we met all these guys, except for Shark Boy, the night before at the fan interaction.
Weren't there only literally 2 people not at the fan interaction? Like the entire roster, there were 2 people not there.
Jarrett, but his wife was...
Okay.
Before he married Karen Jarrett, this was... when his wife was sick.
There were 3. Jeff Jarrett wasn't there.
Tomko
wasn't there because he was in Japan.
Yeah.
He was still in Japan wrestling. I was shocked. Of all the people on the roster, Tomko didn't make it to the meet and greet. I was like...
And Shark Boy.
And Shark Boy.
Yeah.
The weirdest, Jarrett, like you said, made sense, but Shark Boy and Tomko,
And Truth wasn't there, but then they were playing wrestlers' themes the whole time, and they'd get to what's up and be like, false advertising!
I remember that. I forgot about that.
This is bullshit!
Yeah, because they had it playing for a while. Yeah. That's hilarious. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, that's where I met AJ. Met AJ, met Kurt
My
Angle.
favorite Samoa Joe thing happened there when a guy had brought a literal steel chair to have signed, and so everybody's signing their name, probably about that big. Yeah. And Samoa Joe did this giant thing on the middle of the chair where he just wrote Samoa Joe.
Dick.
I was like, what?
Dick. Somebody was a dick. I didn't meet Joe there, but I did remember being so desperate to meet Joe that I drug you and your wife to a WWE pay-per-view viewing party. I'm like, I will pay for your dinners and everything. Please just come with me.
The reason he had to work so hard is because I did meet Joe at the meet and greet. So I was like, I already got a photo with him and everything. But now my wife has a photo with him. She became an instant fan because he was so cool and outside of the ring, and then inside of the ring, no complaints either. So.
Yeah.
But
I just remember I'll pay for both your food, I'll pay for all of your gas.
There was a pay-per-view going on. It was at a sports bar. They were hosting a pay-per-view, and he was just going to be there watching it. So, he convinced me. It was a good little drive, but we went over there.
Had a good time?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
This was very much pre-kids. Oh, my God.
But speaking of, segueing again, speaking of, your wife and everything else, my next in my top 5 comes from, your bachelor party and what was my hard number 1 for, up until Labor Day weekend last year. From your bachelor party, Davey Richards versus Kenny Omega, ROH Clash of the Contenders event in St. Louis 2009, or technically Collinsville. All these ROH in St. Louis are technically Collinsville.
Yeah.
And I just really loved that match. It was like the first match back from intermission. Mm-hmm. And it was so good, it burnt me out on the rest of the show. Like,
Yeah, that makes sense.
I love Chris Hero and Tyler Black at the
Mhm.
time. Now, Cassius Ohno and Seth Rollins. But, like, as good as a match they had, like, when I watched it back on DVD, it was great, but, like, I was just so tired. I'm like, whew. Kenny and Davey wore me out.
Right.
And then, like, I really, again, two guys I at least their work I enjoy. Austin Aries and Delirious were the main event for the ROH title, and yeah, just like it was a good. Again, watching it back, good match. But at the time, I'm just kind of like, whatever. I literally wandered out to the funny story during that main event. I wandered out to the hallway and just happened to stumble into the Young Bucks.
Oh.
And got a picture with them, and you can't see, it's not on this wall, but on the other wall I have my pictures with wrestlers. I met the Young Bucks last January, and I had that picture, that exact picture printed out, and Matt and Nick both signed it for me, so. Yeah, that was top to bottom a really, really good show, but that match was the match up until this next match that you will hear was my favorite match in person. Maybe not my favorite all-around show, but my favorite match.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then a week later, you got married.
Well, you know.
And we almost got stranded, and that's another whole. We can tell lots of stories from that night.
Yeah.
There was no alcohol involved, but we had some stories because I was not old enough to drink then.
Most of us weren't at that point.
You and JC's brother were the only ones old enough to drink. Getting thrown out of a meet and greet bar, and
it was bribing a bus driver.
Bribing the we're just too deep in here now. Fuck it. So we get told, hey, they're doing an after party. If you want to meet the wrestlers, you got to go to this after party.
Yeah,
so we're like,
it's the show, they just announced it.
They're at a bar, and I'm like, hey, we're not going to drink, can we still go into the bar? As long as we're not drinking.
And also, I mean, like, we're in the middle. Like, they're going to, like, somewhere deeper in downtown St. Louis.
Yes.
I'm not interested in driving the big van with the caravan into St. Louis. And they say, hey, there's a bus, and it'll take you there. And it's like, well, hell, why not? So we got on the bus, and it took us there.
Got on the bus, took us there, we got out.
And you asked.
Well, no.
At the event, or did you ask while we were at the arena still? I can't remember.
Yeah. It'll be, it's, as long as you're not drinking, it's 18. Or it's 18 until midnight.
3 a.m. or something like
that. Until 1 o'clock, and then, whatever.
Something where it's like,
something like that. It's just turning into sharing story fest. I like it. I don't know. I hope the viewers enjoy it. If you don't like shows like this, let us know. Or if you love shows like this, let us know. But so anyway, you get there. I meet Colt Cabana, I meet Kevin Owens, meet Roderick Strong. Meet the Briscoes. Ace Steel was there. Met Ace Steel. JC drew Colt Cabana, and everybody's taking pictures with it. I think even like Ace Steel took a picture of it. I think I heard him say, I'm gonna send this to Punk or something like that. Whatever, enjoying ourselves, enjoying meeting the wrestlers. Then as soon as we're done, like the bouncer comes up, just like, hey, you guys, you gotta go. We were told, like, no, it's 21 in Missouri, just 21, so you guys gotta go. So we get thrown out, and you're still in there because you're not aware that we've been thrown out. One member of our party, who will remain, I'm not going to throw him under the bus, he'll remain nameless. We say, hey, could you go back in there and get him? And he said, I didn't want to come here in the first place. That's your own fault. So, yep. So we're just kind of out here. So I'm kind of having to tell the bouncer, sir, could you please go tell that gentleman there in the leather jacket with the long hair that we have been thrown out, and he is coming with us, and...
Right.
And I think the bouncer is at least kind of like, yeah, I'll go do that for you.
Right.
So we regroup among other people that were not 21 years old.
It wasn't just us. There were about 5
that go sit on the bus. We're like, hey, so when are you gonna take us back? And the bus driver says, my contract says I'm not, this was a to and from. I'm not leaving again until
Right.
the.
It's like I'm not a shuttle bus.
I'm
Like,
not a
I
shuttle
leave
bus.
at this time. I think it was
Yeah.
like 3 a.m. or something. It was like 1 at that point. Or I mean, it was crazy. Like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we're gonna sit here for 4 hours or whatever.
So
In the middle of the night.
So me and Jedi, we're not to claim we're heroes, but we just kind of go up to him and say like, "We gave you some money. Would you
Yeah.
drive?" And he said, "You offered?"
Yeah. Yes. I
govern-
have money.
Yeah, I remember kind of like saying handshake agreement, no hustle, man. I'll do that for you. Shake his hand. I think I gave him like $10.
I think a couple of the other guys threw in a couple.
Yeah, I remember like saying to everybody on the bus, like, everybody give him something
Right,
now.
yeah.
Said even if it's just a little bit, just give him money now.
We got back to the arena, got in our car, and drove home.
And I believe, and me, you, and JC had to work in the morning.
Yeah.
Our shit minimum wage jobs too.
Yes.
So that was that adventure.
All right. So let's see. You just went, didn't you?
Yes.
Number 4. So number 3, we're at. I am going to go with Tyler Black versus Jeremy Wyatt in LWA.
Ooh.
And that because it was Tyler freaking Black, and I was a fan of his at
Oh,
that
yeah.
point, and
Jeremy
even now
Wyatt-
I get to point at the TV Seth Rollins. I got to see him wrestle
You can
in a
kind of
KC
see it.
Hall where there was a freaking ceiling fan they had tied to the ceiling, and he couldn't do his 450 because it was right there in the way.
Yeah. Everyone else was fine, but he got that turnbuckle. And you can actually see added to the wall, maybe right up next to Shibata, is the Tyler Black autograph that I got at that event.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
Again, kind of cool getting to hang out with Tyler Black. Kind of cool getting.
Yes, if you squint, you can see it up there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Right next to Shibata, up there on the very top.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But yeah, that was.
Getting to talk to him, and then also I want to point out Jeremy Wyatt right now. Jeremy Wyatt is a local St. Louis, Kansas City wrestler who is probably one of the best villains I've ever come across in like almost MJF level of
Pretty close.
MJF Miz level of villain.
Definitely the Missouri equivalent locally.
Yes.
Not that, I mean.
I'm not, to me, and I've had real conversation with him, and I know him, but that's besides the point.
You got to be a plant.
Yes, I got that. Like, he knew him, and I was like, when he went to that, he would get the more quote unquote smart fans in these like St. Louis shows to like want to jump the guardrail and beat him down. So when he came to our local Southern Illinois AAPW promotion, I'm like, this is gonna be. I want to be here for this because this is gonna be so epically bad.
Wanted to see him.
What is going to happen here?
Work him.
And I remember, one of the random wrestlers I didn't like there just took my my bag of popcorn and signed it. And then I remember he was kind of coming out and I'm like, I look at him, I'm like, this is another side stanchion or whatever. I'm like,
hey, it's a good one.
Tear this up. Like, when you get to me, tear this up. He's like, he kind of nods at me. He gets to me, me and JC are in the front row. Boo! You stink, wife! Boo! Grabs my autograph, rips it up, throws it back in my gun. I'm like, and I'm acting like that. And there are people around me going like, he tore up that guy's autograph! Jeremy Wyatt, I'm not going to overrate him and say, well, he should have made it at WrestleMania. He should have made it at the Tokyo Dome. Jeremy Wyatt is a guy who should have been seen by a wider audience. He should have gotten a Ring of Honor opportunity. He should have gotten maybe an international tour. He should have maybe gone to Noah or Japan or something. Maybe maybe an Impact run. I'm not going to overrate the guy, even though I personally think that he could have been a great WWE wrestler, and he's still wrestling today locally.
He's solid.
He's solid. But it was his character work.
Heck yeah.
That was what made him amazing. While I think he could have been, like I said, one of the best in the WWE, he could have. I feel he's worthy of a run. I'm not going to be that kind of guy that just goes like, oh, I'm going to overrate my local guy. But he's a guy that he's been seen by thousands, and he should have been seen by at least hundreds of thousands.
And it worked because, I mean, in all fairness, back then when Seth Rollins was Tyler Black, his character work was not strong. I mean, his talent, his raw ability was amazing. But, I mean, people like Jimmy Jacobs very much outshined him in the character department.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of there. So playing off Wyatt
Mm-hmm.
and his villain work was just,
amazing.
I mean,
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
it was-
that was definitely on my list.
Yeah.
I still remember that one.
So my number
Freaking
3.
ceiling fan.
Yes.
I was like, do the forfeit. Oh, I can't do the forfeit.
So my number 3 is Cody versus Nick Aldis for the NWA title at All
Yeah.
In.
I knew it was.
Match made me. The match, while I still watch it, I had the goosebumps on my arm that you could like just see just popping out. It was probably one of the best atmospheres. It's probably the best atmosphere for a match I've ever been a part of. Even with I've been thinking about Takeover and the G1 Supercard and WrestleMania for that matter. And I still feel like, as good and as hot as those crowds were, I still just kind of feel like there was just something special about that match and All In that just made that really stand out. And it's a beautiful story.
Mm-hmm.
I still get choked up thinking about it because it's just great storytelling. And,
Right.
the way they did the entrances with Cody coming out with the blue collar Dreamer and DDP and Glacier, and then here comes Aldis coming, and they're all wearing tracksuits, and there's Aldis coming out, and they're all wearing there's Daivari and Jeff Jarrett and the former champion Tim Storm coming out like in suits, and they're like this important entourage. And it was just.
Mm-hmm.
I never got to see Dusty and Flair wrestle in person,
Right.
but I know through seeing that's probably that is what Dusty and Flair probably felt like.
Right.
So, and I don't care what anyone says, that was the best match at All In. So that's my number 3.
There you go. So, number 2, circling back to that TNA pay-per-view again, the Lethal Lockdown match that we actually mentioned earlier.
Fucking AJ falling up the roof onto a bunch of
Scaring
guys.
all of us? Yeah.
Jay,
Did we not start a Please Don't Die channel?
please don't die, and thank you, AJ. But
Right.
here's the thing. JC's been a part of this channel a lot. If you he has opinions, he can talk, he can discuss. He's not somebody who, even when he gets into stuff, it's kind of just more like he's having fun. He doesn't really get really big into chanting and chanting for people. Like he'll chant to have fun, not be obnoxious, but he'll.
Right.
He doesn't chant as a fan of a person, if that makes sense. Not he's a fan of wrestlers, but he doesn't chant "Yay, let's go AJ,"
Right.
Or "Let's go Angle" or anything like that. So when AJ did that, and he was also up chanting AJ, that's something special because it got.
Yeah.
Normally he doesn't chant for the wrestlers and just kind of gets into it. When he's chanting for AJ after all of that, that AJ earned it.
He worked his butt off.
Yeah. So,
I mean, if you haven't seen Lockdown from 2007, just go watch that main event. And,
watch the main events and watch it
I'm
redeem.
going to mention some stuff. Just don't watch the blindfold match or the electrified cage match.
No, watch the electrified cage match.
Jeez.
Watch the electrified cage match is still so bad it's good.
Well, I mean, yeah.
And
true.
I started the Fire Russo chant.
I mean, Devon Dudley's. Yes, you did, and it caught on. Yeah. You could. I think you can hear it on the.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
I remember having Fire Russo sign, and everybody around me taking pictures of it. So
But,
I started the chant.
Devon getting electrocuted was the best.
Yeah. Homicide, and they fuck up the ending where Homicide's supposed to get electrocuted and then fall into the 3D, and then they have to repeat it.
Yep.
But on the flip side, I still thought it was cool because it was a cool moment for the Dudley Boys. I rag on Bully Ray a lot now, but it was cool to see them become the first team to hold all those belts. Yes, they didn't hold the WCW tag titles in WCW, but they held everywhere they went, even a place like WWE where they came up with 1,000 different tag titles, they won all of them there. Yeah. So it was still kind of cool to see that moment.
It's like Raven's weird claim to fame about having an action figure with every major company.
Yeah.
Literally all of them.
Yeah.
Has a WCW figure, an ECW figure, WWE figure, a TNA figure.
Yeah, I think I think here.
There were TNA action figures made at one point.
There's one on my wall.
Exactly. He was not from that nice of a looking line, but
yes. I think another piece of random trivia is I think him and Foley are the only people to have held a championship in WWF, TNA, ECW, and WCW.
Yeah.
I believe. I might be mistaken.
That sounds right. There couldn't be very many others, I wouldn't think.
Because Mick Foley, in case you forgot, was TNA World Champion once. All right, go on.
Well, that was about it, actually. Just Lethal Lockdown. I mean,
Lethal Lockdown.
That was number 2. You haven't done number 2.
Oh, I haven't done number 2.
You have not.
My number 2 is Kota Ibushi versus Tetsuya Naito from the G1 Supercard. I firmly put that in number 2 now. I've watched that and the other match back and forth, and you probably already know what the next one is, but yeah. That was number 2, just unbelievable match. It was stole the show. I know a lot of people like the Okada match better, but I feel like this was the better top to bottom match, and that's not a knock. It's not a knock on Okada or Jay White. I'm not gonna put my troll glasses on, but I feel like that was the best match on the card, and yeah,
right.
Definitely made Madison Square Garden. It gave me that Madison Square Garden moment. Even though I was I'm LIJ all the way, it was still pretty cool to see Ibushi win that title in person.
Fair enough. And number 1, just because we devoted a long, long time to All American Pro Wrestling, we went all their shows for a while there because they were all within an hour driving distance. So we just did.
Or less.
So we kind of got to follow the story such as it was because obviously most people didn't travel. I mean, I know some did, but obviously a lot of people didn't. So we kind of got to follow the story of Championship Chase. And they had a villain named Steven Davis that, by hook or crook, through all the classic oldies, managed to always keep retaining that belt, and you just wanted him to lose so bad. And then we had a hero in Shane Rich, and for that company, he was very athletic compared to some that are more.
Even though, and it's going to seem biased because he's our friend, but even though Edmund, I believe, was still probably the best actual wrestler in that company, he was very not in the mold. The only thing that probably he had going for him that was more old school was he had the look.
Yeah,
Shane Rich did.
And he'd do things like the Pele kick.
He did the Pele kick.
A little bit just
shooting star press and stuff like that.
Teasing a little more modern to the classic. His character work was nothing compared to Edmund.
No.
Edmund was definitely my favorite wrestler in that group. But Shane Rich is the guy that was going to unseat this bastard of the championship. Yes. So, it's like, come on! And he got screwed out of it so many times. So when he finally won it was like, yes! So, and of course they teased it to the point where you're like, no, he's going to lose again. And then you're like, yes. So, just the emotion of it and all that, even though, I think not long after he lost it back, and I'm not surprised because it was more the chase than the,
They were old school at the beginning. They were an old school company in that, it was more about, the hero gets a short run with it, and then you got to chase. It's like Ric Flair holds it, Dusty gets a moment and holds it for a minute, loses it back, Ric Flair.
Yep. And thankfully, also that led to the frustration and the villain turn of Shane Rich, where, he turned on the best hero in the company.
It was 2 years later, but yeah.
Yep.
But yeah,
I mean, it's still that's what led to it. It was
Right.
that frustration that kept building afterwards, and then his, well, I should be better than this, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that was a good feud just because.
You missed when Edmund eventually won the title. I had that similar feeling with Edmund, but I excluded that one just because of the bias of we're friends, and that's why.
That's why I went with it as the most memorable. Because, right.
Well, for me,
it was a good story. I mean, for as much crap as I sometimes probably give that promotion, just because I was more into the modern style and it was more slow, so sometimes it's like,
they had good stuff.
On. Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
But it was still old school. It was still it was marketed to children.
Yep.
So
Mississippi Madman.
He was good. He was good at times, but like Curly, one of the worst wrestlers I've ever seen. But
that tattoo though, you couldn't look away.
We don't have enough time.
Anyway.
We don't have enough time to complain about Curly on this show. My number one is it is Adam Cole, baby, versus Johnny Gargano from NXT TakeOver New York. That is the Rocky IV of wrestling matches to me, and I've probably told the story a bunch of times. But
okay, go for it again.
It's always everybody's first episode. It's always somebody's first episode, I should say. I'm there wearing an Undisputed Era shirt. I'm thinking, yep, Adam Cole, baby, it's his time. Shock the And I'm into that match, and I'm all for Adam Cole. And then as the match progresses, I start thinking, Adam Cole, Johnny wrestling, Johnny. And as everything built, by the end of it, I was rooting for Johnny Gargano, and Johnny Gargano won. So, cool moment. Definitely, without question, the best match I've ever seen in person. I went back and forth on it for weeks, but there is no going back now. Yes, and best match of the weekend, best match I've ever seen in person.
Can't beat Johnny Gargano.
Honorable mentions, because I didn't want to put too many from that weekend, to Kofi and Bryan from WrestleMania. Also AJ and Orton. Give an honorable mention to lost my train of thought. There was a tag team match that included Will Ospreay and Tanahashi versus Zack Sabre Jr. and Minoru Suzuki from Rev Pro. That was very good. WrestleCon Super Show introduced us to a lot of new talent. Very, very good show there. But another match that you were actually there in person for that I want to recognize was from the TNA house show that we went to in St. Louis.
Yeah. Same arena, wasn't it?
Same arena, yes. Christian versus Kurt Angle. Just because they had this ridiculous ending sequence where Kurt Angle goes for the Angle Slam, and then Christian gets out of it, goes for the I'm Prettier, and then Angle gets out of it, and Angle gets out of it and goes for another Angle Slam, and then Christian gets out of it and turns into an ankle lock, and then Kurt gets out of it, turns into another ankle lock, and then they get out, and then they just keep going for finishers upon finishers upon finishers, and it's just like, Angle, no, he turns out into an ankle slam. No, he gets out in, I'm Prettier. No, he turns into his own I'm Prettier. No, he turns into an ankle lock. No, he turns into an ankle lock, and then, no, then Angle Slam, and it's over.
Yep.
Kurt Angle hits the Angle Slam and wins. It was just this beautiful sequence. It's a shame it was not on TV or pay-per-view for anyone to see. It was just like, holy shit, did you see that?
Yeah.
And yeah.
And then poor Kurt in the ring for like an hour afterwards taking photos with people. He looked like death, poor guy.
Still a nice guy looking like death, but yeah. And we didn't cut him a break and say, no, that's okay, we did it.
Right.
So, yeah, that is,
That's
I think that's all that's all this week, Let us know if you enjoy a format like this. Hopefully, I mean, even though these are a lot of fun, I also recognize that, sitting around sharing stories maybe isn't what the rest of them has to say. But if you guys enjoy us, let us know. If you don't feel that during slow wrestling weeks we should do shows like this anymore, let us know. We're open to constructive criticism. Hopefully, something can pick the fuck up soon.
Next week's Stomping Ground predictions, I guess. So.
No, that's not in Saudi Arabia, so we can do that.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll do Stomping Ground.
Yeah, that's going to happen, so we'll do that. Maybe there'll be something extra to talk about. Maybe there'll be something interesting for the go-home week. Maybe. I'm not holding my breath. Maybe.
Even for us, like, even when AEW comes around, at least that's going to be something that we can talk about.
Yes. I'm excited about Fyter Fest.
So Fyter Fest, Fight for the Fallen, all these different things, and hopefully, again, knock on wood, hopefully I can get some all-out tickets tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be lucky. But
hopefully I will see you in the crowd from my TV.
Yes.
If all goes well.
If all goes well. Yes. But that's pretty much it for this. This week. So just leave your if you like this kind of episode, let us know. If you don't, let us know. If you have anything from this week you'd like to talk about that we didn't cover, leave us a comment in the comment section below. We'll get back to you.
If you have ideas, throw them out there.
Yeah. Be sure to go like the Facebook page at facebook.com/athleticgeek89 for more content. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Go follow me on Twitter at athletic_geek89 and go follow me on Instagram at athleticgeek89. Jedi, no social media because he's got kids and ain't got time for that shit. But if you want to drop him a line, just tweet at me or leave me a message on Facebook and I'll get back to him. I'll make sure he gets it. And for Jason Kruger, I'm the Athletic Geek. We are just two marks, and we're out. Have a good one.